and welcome to my channel. My name is Angelina and today I'm going to be doing a wrap-up to a failed vlog of mine. So I won't lie, this is my second time now filming this video. I don't know what happened to the first one, but you know, it's fine. This whole thing is a mess. Basically, the gist is that a hurricane just hit Florida yesterday as I'm filming this, and I live in Florida. I was impacted. I did not have power or internet for a couple hours, and since I knew this was going to happen, I was going to do a 24-hour reading vlog, but that did not go as planned because I'm terrible at vlogging, but I still managed to read a whole bunch of books, and I still wanted to do a little video about it. So yeah, that is the idea of this video. I also because the rain and wind was really bad on the side of my house where this window is, we ended up having to move all of my books away because we were afraid of this window breaking. So I did today, since it is the day after, I redid my shelves. Because all of my books were off it, I decided to rearrange them, and I did do a time lapse of that because I was going to add it to the vlog. That is no more. So I'm just going to throw that in here. I'll have timestamps down below if you want to skip it, but yeah, here's that. Okay, but on to the books that I read. So I managed to read 709 pages in 24 hours. I probably could have read more, but I'm not gonna lie, as soon as my internet came back on, reading sort of fell to the wayside. Yeah. So I managed to read 4 books, and then I made it 35% into a 5th book. I'm actually kind of upset that I didn't end up finishing that book because it's really good and I definitely could have, but nonetheless. So the first book I finished was Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. I was on page 308 before this 24-hour thing, so I read the last 250-ish pages of this and I gave it 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this. A whole lot. I cannot wait to get the second book and continue on in the series. I do know there is a TV show on this as well, which I do also want to watch. But this is a sci-fi book following 2 different characters. One is sort of the co-captain of this ship, and things end up happening where he ends up becoming sort of an outlaw. And then we are following sort of a disgraced detective who's sort of his case that he's working on ends up getting wrapped up in this outlaw's sort of timeline sort of thing. They end up meeting, things happen. There's a lot of shocks that end up happening towards the end, which is one of my favorite sort of tropes or things to read about in books. So I was so excited to see that in this book. Yeah, this was just a really good time and I really enjoyed it. Definitely can't wait to continue on the series. And because I enjoyed it so much, I read the short story, which is book 1.5 or whatever, and that is The Butcher of Anderson Station. This is a 40-page short story following the backstory of one of the characters that we meet in Leviathan Wakes, and this was really good. I gave it 3.5 stars. I'm not the biggest fan of short stories in general, but from a background look at this like side character. I really enjoyed it. I liked having that knowledge, so I'm glad that I read it. And then I read The Ballad of Black Tom, which is a horror novella, and I gave this one 2 stars. It really did not work for me. I see what it was trying to do, but like the execution did not work for me. I listened to the audiobook of this, so I'm not sure if that's where the problem was, but I just did not care about anything happening. I was really bored, kept like losing interest in listening to it. But since it was so short, I did continue instead of DNFing. But this is a horror fantasy type story. Again, following 2 characters. You have sort of this like detective police guy who's looking for this other guy who like stole a book. There are like fantastical things that happen. There's a lot of like political commentary as well, which again, I liked what this like book was trying to do. Just the way it was told did not work for me, sadly. A horror novella that did work for me was Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones. I really enjoyed this book, which for some reason ended up shocking me, even though I've read another book by Stephen Graham Jones and I gave it 5 stars. This is my 2nd time reading him, but either way, this ended up shocking me. We are following one guy and like this group of friends who this like group had been playing with a mannequin for like their childhood, and as they grew up they stopped playing with him, but then they bring him back for one last prank. The prank goes wrong and they end up starting to die off one by one. So this guy that we're following in this group is trying to figure out what's going on, and I enjoyed it. It was a lot more descriptive about like the goriness of this story than I was expecting, but like I really loved it, because what I like in horror is the more gruesome, gory things. So this one ended up really working for me. And then the book I had started but didn't finish is Tattered by Daphne Perry. This is a second chance accidental pregnancy type romance, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm only 30% in, but I really like our 2 main characters. I sort of like their dynamic and how the whole story is sort of unraveling. I won't say too much because, you know, it is a romance. There's not too much really to say about it, but I am enjoying it and I do want to finish it very soon. So those are all the books I managed to read in 24 hours. You saw me redo my shelves, and yeah, that is about it. I don't really do wrap-ups anymore, but since this was sort of a failed vlog, I still felt like sort of talking about these books that I read, and yeah, it was nice. It was nice to read that much. Again, I haven't sort of done like a 24-hour reading project in a while, and hopefully I end up doing more of them. Hopefully I actually manage to successfully vlog one of them one day, but yeah. That is it for this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and leave a comment about whatever you feel like commenting, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!